Hi guys, welcome back to the channel, or welcome if it's your first video with me watching. So, one thing I wanted to do for 2022 is do a lot more actual get readies with me. Now, I probably can't see it. I'm gonna have to figure out the angle on this, but I bought that board, the sign board, to do like motivational, positive sayings, but I got lazy with changing up the letters and the sayings, so I thought, why not use it to announce my videos? I don't think you're gonna be able to see it. Like I said, I gotta work on the back and where to place it and everything so you're able to better see it. But so that's essentially get ready with me using high-end and Luxe makeup. Thumbs up and subscribe. Like I said, I'll figure out the arrangements of that in another video. Right now it's just too much this way, that way, and I'm getting a little annoyed with that, so we're just gonna stop messing with it and let's start this video. So like I said, this is gonna be a get ready with me using high-end and Luxe makeup. Now, I already picked everything in advance and I have already looked up the prices in advance, so I'll tell you what everything is individually and then I'll give you the overall cost, because I'm thinking I want to do like a kind of like a series with this, like the battle of the high-end Luxe versus drugstore, which will be tomorrow. I'll film that, the drugstore brands, and then the third video would be like a mix of both items I used in my high-end Luxe makeup video and the drugstore. So that way you could kind of see like how do they work, like do they pair well together, use just high-end Luxe makeup, or does drugstore work better, or if you use the high-end and the drugstore brand, do they combine all together? So I just thought I'll do a little series for that, and that is something I'm going to do once a month. I do want to say right now though, I am not going to be opening up all my concealers, foundations, and mascaras. So whatever high-end foundation, concealer, mascara I have open, those are the three I will use every single time until I run out. Same thing with the drugstore. Whatever foundation, concealer I use for that video, that's the one I will always use until I run out. Because I don't want to open it up, start the clock, and then it goes bad because I couldn't finish it up. So that's the only thing. But all the powders, I will switch. So just when you see this video next month in February, you'll know already. And I'll put the disclaimer again. So let's just get started. So for my base, I am using, don't worry, I have my list, I wrote everything down, is my Charlotte Tilbury Brightening Youth Glow Brightening Color Correcting Glow Primer. I got this in a mystery box, but this regularly prices at $55. Yeah guys, 55 bucks. No. Not 55 bucks. Let me get my mirror. But yeah, 55. Here's like a dollop. I will give you the total at the end of the video. And again guys, I'm gonna say this is high-end Luxe makeup, so do not be shocked at how expensive this video is gonna end up being. I mean, maybe you'll still be shocked because when I did the math on this, and this is before I decided on a lipstick, because I wasn't sure I was going to do lipstick. I'm like, yeah, no, why not? Let's do lipstick. It was already very, oh my god, it was expensive. I had bought this individually, let alone at the regular price. So if I can remember if I did buy them myself, what price I bought them at, or if I got it in a mystery box. Okay. There we go. Now, next is my foundation, I will be using my Armani Power Fabric Longwear High Cover Foundation. It is Oxonate Sunscreen Broad Spectrum SPF 25. Regular price is $64. I did not pay $64, and never would I. Luckily for me, Leah Janae, if you follow her, she posted on her community tab that they were having a sale. Here it is. And I got this for 50% off, so I only paid $32. I could justify. Now, I could easily justify $32 for a foundation, but I can never justify you know, a $64 foundation. No, never. And yes, I do put it on my neck because I do plan on using my do maybe one more pump. I do plan on bringing down the why am I blanking on the name? Bronzer. That's the word. I don't know why I went blank. Down to my neck as well. This could be a little too much. We'll see. Now, while I'm doing my makeup, I do want to talk about topic because I don't want to just be silent. I think that's awkward. Alright, so in one of my videos, I talked about the story of Ruri. I cannot remember the title of the show because it's so long. It's like Ruri's a royal love story in the palace or something like that. So I'm going to talk about a very important character. Her name is Halan. I'm probably saying it wrong. I cannot speak the language, so I'm sorry ahead of time, but you know, it is what it is. But anyways, Halan and Ruri are sisters, but they're not sisters in the sense that they are related by blood. They are not related by any means, not even by cousin standards. Halan is another of the emperor's wives, but she is a lower ranking wife, while Ruri is a higher ranking wife. Well, the story with Halan is that she's a weak character in the beginning. I say this because when at the end of the video, when I tell you how Halan character is now, you'll understand. But in the beginning, she's a weak character. She has no power. The emperor does not favorite her at all, so the other wives bully her a lot. The only reason they stop bullying her is because of Ruri. Ruri is a higher ranking wife, and they know that she is close to Ruri. So because of Ruri's status, that protects her. Okay, let's see. It is definitely full coverage because all my redness and my little whiteheads. Oh, okay, I like the first impressions on this. I think I chose the right shade. OMG. That's a rarity, guys. I can never pick the right shade. It's always too dark or too light. Oh, yay for me. Okay. Well, before we go back to the story, I'm using the Armani Concealer. This is $34, same thing, 50% off, so I only paid 17 bucks. Now, back to Halan. So, Halan stops getting bullied because of Ruri, because she is a favored wife, she has power, she's higher status. Now, once all the drama goes down with supposedly Ruri being behind the deaths of two babies, and one of the other emperor's wives, and she's banished to the cold palace, Halan no longer has that protection anymore. So Halan visits Ruri, and Ruri tells her, "You can't visit me. If someone finds you, you'll get in trouble." So she tells Ruri that the way I will tell you if I'm okay and I'm doing fine is I will fly a kite. And then you know I'm doing fine, I'm good. So she flies a kite, And our maids are saying, oh, is like, are you sure it's right to fly the kite right now? And everything's like, yeah, the weather's gonna be bad after this. I won't be able to fly a kite anymore. So she flies the kite one last time to give the signal to Marie that she's okay. Marie sees the kite. Unfortunately, the Empress comes back from her son's palace, and her son is sick. Like, unfortunately, he is at death's door, so she's already sad, upset, and, you know, every emotion you can feel. So you do feel bad for her, for the Empress, for what she's going through. The second wife decides to add fire to the fuel already, or more fuel to the fire, however the saying goes. And points out, who dares to fly a kite when, you know, the prince is sick? So they go to the garden where Halan is flying the kite. And of course, Halan sees the Empress, you know, brings the kite back. And, you know, kneels to honor the Empress. Setting powder. I'm using the Fenty Beauty. This is $32, but I got this in BoxyCharm. So, the Empress is mad because of obviously the circumstances of her son's health and what's happening. And the second wife whispers again. Oh, she doesn't whisper, she's straight up. Oh, that happened, guys. Oh, okay. This is, oh, whatever. This is gonna get messy, whatever. It is what it is. So, the second wife says, how dare you fly a kite when the prince is sick and he could die? And Halan says, you know, apologizes. I was like, oh, I'm sorry, Empress, I did not know about the prince. And there the second wife goes, adding more fire to the fuel to the Empress's already, you know, mood. And says, how dare you not know that the prince is sick? Like, you should know that. And again, this pisses the Empress off even more. And she tells Halan that, well, no, before that happens, actually. The second wife, again, butts in and says, look, it's even worse, that pouch that she made for the Ulanara woman. This is Marie. So because she's been banished to the Cold Palace, they're not allowed to say her name. So they refer to her by her clan name, which is the Ulanara clan. It's like, she even wears the pouch that she made for the Ulanara woman. So the second wife grabs the pouch and rips it, throws it to the ground. Halan is upset, kneels, grabs the pouch, and as soon as she grabs the pouch, the Empress starts walking away and steps on Halan's hand. And then the Empress has the gall to be pissed at her, like she did something wrong. So then she tells Halan, for being disrespectful and flying the kite, you have to kneel in the rain for 2 hours. Now she's the Empress and they have to do what the Empress says. So she kneels in the rain for 2 hours. And she has to do this. There is no choice. Oh, guys. Powder went everywhere. Oh, let me see if I can take some off. One thing I don't like about this is the powderiness. I can never get this not to be powdery and be all over the place. But I love it. It's seriously, this is worth the money. So Halan kneels for the 2 hours. She has to. She has no choice. And once the 2 hours is up, her mates, you know, help her up. And Halan is so emotionally upset. She goes to the Cold Palace. And of course they lock up the Cold Palace. So she's banging on the door, calling for Marie. Marie wakes up, goes to the door, sees it's Halan. Halan is upset and tells Marie what they did to her. How they pick on her and bully her because she is so loyal to her, to Marie. And that's when Rui essentially tells her, put your big girl panties on her, saying that, you know, you have to gain power on your own. I am not there to defend you and protect you anymore. And until I come back, you have to build your own power to stand on. And of course she's like, I don't have any, the emperor doesn't favor me. And then that's when Rui says, then gain favor by the emperor. And this is when she says, I'm afraid of the emperor. Now, from what I've seen in the show up to that point, the emperor's never been mean to her or rude or anything. I think she's just intimidated by him. And then Rui says, okay, well then gain favor through the emperor's dowager. And she says, well, the empress dowager doesn't like me because I'm so loyal to you. And then that's where Rui says, Halan, you have to gain power one way or the other. I can't help you. Okay, setting powder done, we're going in with the bronzer. The bronzer I chose is Dior. And this is $48, but I got this with the 20% off, so it was cheaper. So pricey, but I wanted to try it. Now, Halan, I remember we finally tells Halan, you have to go back to your palace. You can't be seen here. I like using this for my bronzer because I feel like I can like focus it more where I want it to. So I'll be using Ali Dawson's F32 brush. Okay, so Rui says you have to find a way to gain power, gain favoritism by the emperor, and tells her you have to do it if you don't, essentially if you don't want to be bullied by the other wives and you want to be protected from the empress. So afterwards, Rui tells her you have to go back to your palace. You can't be here. You can't be seen here. So she finally convinces Halan to go back to her palace. And she does it, but she's not happy. Which I can't blame her. The poor girl, she went through up to that point with the bullying. Like, ugh. But, so she goes back. And she's walking in the rain, upset, crying her eyes out. Finally, her servants... it's not pigmented as I thought. Finds her. She's collapsed. Of course, she was in the rain for at least 2 hours, and then I don't know how long she was out in the rain talking to Rui, so she was out in the rain for a good amount of time. She obviously gets sick as a result of all of that. And, so Halan is sick. She stays in her palace to, recover from the fact I don't think she had pneumonia, she just caught a cold. Which could have been a lot more worse, clearly, but, she recovers. And as she's recovering, she, repairs the pouch that they destroyed a few days earlier. And she's crying, so, she's so emotionally upset with everything. But something changes in her in those days that she's recovering from her cold. When she comes out from her palace, fully recovered, she's different. She dolls herself up, because before she was just very simply, nothing over the top, nothing, nothing like that. And her head ornaments that she wears on the hair, the women wear on the hair, they'd be very simple. Nothing glamorous, nothing that would catch the emperor's attention. And she doesn't do her makeup. Well, she comes out of her palace with makeup, very dressed up, very adorned headpieces all of a sudden. And when she meets up with her, fellow, essentially sister wives, because that's what it is, they even say like, oh my god, Halan, you look so different. What's so different about you? They even notice the difference in her. Like, she's not the same Halan she was when she was before, and then after she came out after recovering. So even they're like, wow, what's going on? You look so different. And then they catch her up on what happened. We put a little bit more bronzer. And they tell her that the emperor had this, he's working on this gift for the Empress Dowager for her birthday. And it's a tapestry. The problem is that the Empress Dowager keeps sending it back. She keeps sending the tapestry back because she doesn't like it. There's something wrong with it. And the embroidery department, like, they're scratching their heads frustrated, like, what's wrong with it? We don't know what to do. We don't know how to fix it. And they tell Halan this, you know, that this is what's happening, and he's stressing out because this is a gift for her, and he doesn't know what to do to fix it, and he's frustrated with the embroidery department. Like, why aren't you guys figuring out why she doesn't like it? Why does she keep returning it? Now, Halan knows this is her opportunity to gain the emperor's attention. Let's use Ali Dawson's F31. I'm going to use it for my blush. And for the blush, I am using the Jaclyn Hill one. I'm going to use this, and this is $34. So it is Sunkissed. So Halan realizes this is her chance. So she excuses herself. She goes to the embroidery department, looks at the looks at the tapestry to see, you know, she inspects it herself because apparently she used to work in that department when the Empress noticed her and she became, you know, a wife of his. And she looks at it, inspects it to see what she thinks is wrong with it, why the Empress Dowager keeps returning it, why she's not happy with it. And apparently she decides not to completely fix it, but fixes a part of it to show the embroidery department, like, this is what's wrong with it, this is why she keeps sending it back. So she shows them what she did. Well, she explains it first, like, okay, this is what's wrong with it, and this and that, and she, you know, she breaks it down. And I was like, oh my god, what, really? That's what we have to do? It's like, oh, can you please show us what you mean? Okay, let's see. And this is not showing up, guys. What the hell? This blush is not showing. It's not good. I think I might have to use another one because this blush is like nothing. Nothing's coming off. I might have to get a darker shade than this. Okay, I'm gonna try to pack it on. Continue with the story. So, Halan breaks it down. This is what's wrong with it. This is why she keeps sending it back. They're telling her, oh, please show us. And she says, I did this little piece here, you know. And she shows them where she did the little piece herself. What she did with it. And then the embroidery, you know, department's obviously taking all the people that are listening, like, oh, okay, okay. Now, while she's explaining this and showing them, this is what you have to do. And this part, you know, pointing out all the parts where they can fix. The emperor shows up. And he doesn't say anything. She doesn't know that he's there. And eventually, of course, he announces himself. And everyone, you know, goes out of the room, except for Halan and him. And he says, oh, I remember when I first met you, you used to be in this department and all this. And thank you for helping me for this. And sure enough, what happens? He flips her tag. What I mean by that is that each of the wives have a tag with their name. And he chooses her tag that night. Okay, it's showing up, but it's taking a little bit more building than I thought. This sucks. Okay. I'm gonna put a little bit more because I don't. No. Let's put just a tiny, yeah, just a tiny bit more. And we'll move on. So he flips her tag that night. And it has now gained power through the Emperor because the Emperor now favors her. Just like what Rui said. Gain power through favoritism by the Emperor. And it's powdery. This thing's very powdery. Now we're going with highlighter. It should be no surprise because if you saw my declutter, you'll see the highlighters that I kept as Ofra. So I'm going to use the Mother Earth. So now, this is where the story does go forward in time by like 2.5 years, something like that, passes from that moment. And we're going to use Ali Dawson's F35. This can be used as a highlighter or contouring, and I don't contour, so we're using as a highlighter. Ooh, and the viewfinder, this is a lot more pigmented than I thought, so I definitely have to bring it down. But anyways. Like 2.5 years passes from that moment, and the Emperor and Halan are taking in the scenery, and they're talking. I don't remember about what, but they're talking. And then Halan suddenly feels dizzy. She's sick. Ooh. Did I put too much? Yes. Do I care? No. I mean, can you see that, guys? I'm just saying, like, Ofra highlighters. They're worth the money. I beam to the gods and Mars. So, back to the story. Halan suddenly feels sick, faint. You know, they get the doctor. The doctor takes her pulse and announces, congratulations, Emperor and Halan, you're pregnant. Of course, the Emperor's overjoyed and Halan's happy, so she's not pregnant. So she's not even more favored, because when one of his wives are pregnant, they're very favored. Like, they become the top person because they're pregnant with the royal baby now. So she had favor and power already. She has even more favoritism, even more power now that that she's pregnant. Though for us $35, I don't know if I said it, but if I did already, well, I said it again. The eyeshadow palette I'm using. Natasha Denona's Sunrise Palette. Regular price is $65, but I got this on the Black Friday sale for $40. I know, guys, don't worry. Hopefully when I'll set this down, it just calms down a little bit. Because, it's been a while since I've done a full face of makeup. So, this is where the story gets really interesting. We'll get to be more interesting, shall I say. Halan's pregnant. She's even more favored by the Emperor. Gerard Cosmetics clean canvas base. And she says, I really like him. I want him to be my doctor. So the Emperor is like, okay, he'll be your doctor. And then he warns the doctor, if anything happens to her or the baby, it's your life. That's what he says to him pretty much. And he says, yes, I understand. If anything happens to her or the baby, I would gladly sacrifice my life. So the Emperor leaves her and the doctor. And then she tells the doctor, did you bring it? I'm like, at this point, I'm like, what? What's going on here? What did he bring? And he takes out this bottle. And he says, if the Emperor finds out I gave you this, it's going to be my head. And that makes me even more like, what is going on? Halan, what are you doing? And then that's when they clarify it, like, if the Emperor finds out I give you this poison, yeah, I said it, poison, I will die for this. It's like, and she's like, no, 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 he's not gonna find out. We have to do this for Rui. What is the plan? She wants to prove Rui's innocence concerning the deaths of the babies. That Rui did not do it, that she was framed. What does she do? She poisons herself, yeah, and her unborn child, mimicking the same symptoms that the other two women experienced when they were pregnant, and that resulted in the loss of their child, and that resulted in the death of the second woman because she did die of complications post-birth. So, but apparently you find out it is not the same poison. It's a similar poison that gives the same symptoms, but not the same one, not the exact same one. I'm yelling at the TV at this point, like, Halan, what are you doing? No! Like, I get why she's doing, but like, oh my god. So, you're like, oh my god. So she takes the poison. Thank God the symptoms appear very quickly. And of course, they alert the doctors alert the Emperor about what is happening. And the Emperor's like, how can this happen? I thought this was done. We didn't have to worry about this. And then that's like, well, if the Ulanara woman is in the cold palace and she didn't do it, maybe someone else did it. She accomplishes what the whole plan was about. She forces the Emperor to reopen the investigation into the deaths of the two babies that died a few years earlier. And then, of course, he asks the doctors, can the damage be reversed? And the doctor's like, yes, we can reverse, you know, whatever damage. There won't be any permanent damage to her or the baby. We caught it early enough. Emperor's relief. Suspicion now is like, oh, well, maybe Rui didn't do it. Oh, yeah. Guys, I'll be back. I gotta change the batteries. It's dying. I'm back. Change the batteries. Start with the eyeshadow. How was I? Oh yeah, so. Now there's suspicion that maybe Rui did not, you know, kill two innocent babies. Maybe she was framed. So the whole plan works out. Even though you're like, Halan, what are you doing? But it works. This is where you know these two are truly sisters. Because during this time that Halan is poisoning herself and the unborn baby, I'm gonna go with Glory and Clove. So here's Clove and here's Glory right here. I'm gonna combine them. So, during this time that Halan is poisoning herself and the baby, Rui, if you saw that video where I explained what's happening with her, she's already had 2 attempts on her life. And Rui knows she's at a point where either she has to do something to get herself out of this palace. Because trust me, I say cold palace, but it is not a palace. It is literally a cold palace. Horrible, you never want to live there. So, she realizes there's already 2 attempts on her life. She needs to do something to get out of there. Because if she doesn't, she's going to leave in a body bag. Because they're determined, you know, to kill her. They are. They're relentless. They're like trying so hard to kill her. So, the doctor that's treating Halan during her pregnancy, and yes, I gave her the poison, is treating Rui. Because at this time, like I said, the cold palace stands by his name. It is so cold, she ends up developing arthritis. And apparently that's a very common thing when you live at the cold palace. Arthritis. So the doctor that's treating Halan is treating Rui and her servant because they're both suffering from the arthritis. The doctor visits Rui and the servant, gives them a checkup, and then, yet again, Ruby says, "Did you bring it?" I'm like, oh my god. I'm like, oh no. He says yes. We don't see anything after that. The next scene after that is Ruri and her servant are puking their guts out. Like in between puking sessions, they're calling the bodyguards that's, you know, guarding the entrance on the outside. They're yelling, "Help, help, please, please help us." They're like, "What's going on? What's going on in there?" So they open the gates, they go inside, and they go inside the palace and they see these two women on the floor puking their guts out. So they ask, "What's going on? What's going on? What happened?" And then they say that we ate this food and now we ate this food, and they can see what the result of eating the food is. They're puking. So one of the guards tells the other, "Go get a doctor. You know, go get a doctor." So the guard goes, gets a doctor. The other one stays with them. And the doctors come. They check on them. And of course they check out the food. And the food has been poisoned. So they treat her and the servant for the poisoning. Obviously they investigate further what poison was used, what happened, you know, all this stuff. The Emperor visits Ruri. And he realizes that Halan got poisoned with the same, allegedly the same thing. And now Rui's been poisoned. This forces the Emperor even more like, okay, she's truly innocent. Oh, this is what the eyeshadow looks like right now. And the Emperor reinstates Rui's status that she had before the whole thing happened with the babies and the poor woman dying. He reinstates her status. And then of course he asks the doctor, well, when can she leave? It's like, well, right now she's too weak, she needs to recover. So the Emperor says, as soon as she's fully recovered, you know, bring her clothes and bring everything she's gonna need to go back. Okay, so I'm gonna put a topper. I am gonna use Poppy right here. So Ruri eventually does recover. She wakes up and they tell her, you know, what happened, that she's now been reinstated, that she now gets to go back to the Forbidden City, that's what they call it. And she just has to you know, obviously recover enough to gain her strength back to go back. But that she's now, because when she went to the Cold Palace, they demoted her all the way down to a commoner. So she's now back to being the high status she had before. So Ruri recovers. She she doesn't go back to the original palace she had before she was sent to the Cold Palace. She has a new palace, and the Emperor tells everyone, give her the best of everything, design everything with the best of everything you have, and design it to her taste. So she goes to this new palace, checks everything out. The Emperor tries to weasel his way out. You know, what he did to her. You know, so he goes away. Halan obviously hears that Ruri is back. She goes back and says, "Sister, sister, you're back." That's what it looks like. And they hug and embrace, and of course they're happy, you know, she's back, oh yay. Let's just do clove on the bottom of my under eye. And they hug and embrace and they drink tea. And Ruri dismisses the servants. So it's just her and Halan. And Halan confesses what she did. That she poisoned herself. And she did that to prove that Ruri was framed. She didn't do it. And of course, Ruri's like, Halan, how can you do that? You know, you're pregnant with the Emperor's baby. You can't do that. It's like, I did it to prove your innocence. So then Ruri looks around and makes sure, you know, really make sure that there's no one around to overhear her part of the conversation. I mean, she does that with Halan already, but she really makes sure. And that's where Ruri confesses. I made myself sick. Sochi, I'm saying her name wrong, her servant. This is what the look looks like. So that's where she confesses that. Me and Sushi, I can't say her name. We poisoned ourselves to force the Emperor to make a move. And that's when you know they're truly sisters, because while Halan was poisoning herself, and right around the time the symptoms had made its appearance, and that's where she said, well, Ruri couldn't have done it because she's in the cold palace. The incident with Ruri ended up happening with her poisoning right after that. So you know your true sisters when you have no communication, yet somehow you plan the exact same thing right next to each other. Okay, that's it for the eyeshadow. We are gonna do mascara. This I got in a mystery box. The regular price on this is $24. So that's how you know those two are sisters. I mean, they're not related by blood at all, like I said. Not even cousins. They're completely from different clans, because Ruri was related to the Empress. Well, she was an Empress before they demoted and stripped her of that title and death, which was really sad. But so because of that, Ruri was high status, really high status. Whereas Halan is low status. She didn't come from a high status family at all. Had no power, money really. So that's why she does not have enough power. Now, after this, Halan does give birth. But from like that moment on, when she took charge and decided to do what she did, she like really gained confidence in herself and stopped relying on others. And like she just really came into herself a lot more and gained confidence and power on her own, not having to completely rely on the Emperor like before. So that's why I love her character. Alright, lip products. First I need to get wipes. So that's why I love Halan, and that's why I said her character in the beginning is weak, because if you see the series, how she is in the beginning and how she ends up after all of this, and this isn't even halfway through the series, you know, you would not think she had the courage to do something like that. And after the whole thing, doing what she did for Ruri to prove her innocence, she no longer becomes you know, essentially afraid little girl. She becomes this confident woman. And she starts playing the game. Because all the wives, all of the emperor's wives, play this game. And the game is, I want my son to be the crown prince. I want my son to be the future emperor of the country. To give glory to my clan. Now she's different in that she plays that game in a sense, but she plays it a lot more smart than the other woman. So that's what I love about that. Okay, lips. First, I'm going to do a lip balm and then the actual lip. This is Huda Beauty. I didn't think I was going to use it. It's a lip balm. I did not have the price. I'll look it up and add it to the total. But that is definitely high end. This is where I wasn't sure. These are two Charlotte Tilbury lipsticks. This is in the shade Glowing Gem. I kind of want to use it just because of the name. And this one is Stoned Rose. I'm going to swatch both of them. But that is Halan's character. She comes quite a long way, to say the least. She's no longer afraid to stand up for herself at all, like before. Because before she would just take it. You know, whatever the wives did to her, she would take it. Okay, this is Glowing Gem and Stone Rose. Okay, we're gonna go with Glowing Gem. I think that's better. Now this one is $37. Yeah. But yeah, it goes with it. Yeah, it goes with it, I think. Maybe not completely, but can't match everything. Okay, I like that. And last but not least is my Holy Grail. Holy Grail. I would buy it at regular price every single time if I have no choice. The Urban Decay De-Slick setting powder. This is $33. Let's set everything. Do I go overboard? Yes, I do. Where is my beauty sponge? Here it is. So that is Halan's character. Now obviously, because she's such an important character, I'm about, I think, I've entered into episode 60 now. But Halan continues being a very important character. She's one of those characters who you don't see her coming at all. You like, she sneaks up behind you. Like, if you do something to her or to someone she loves, she's not a direct attacker. She is a, I'm gonna set a trap for you and you're gonna fall for it. And I love her character for that, because she's like a threat. She's the silent threat that comes behind you and you're trapped before you realize it. So I just want to talk about, and also I need a talking point too. But I love her character. I love it. I love her, I love her character. I love her development. Alright guys, this is it. This is the final look. I'm not gonna lie. First impression, let's go through everything. Some of this stuff I've already used, so let me first wipe this off because I'm gonna forget. Okay. Let's go down by order. Charlotte Tilbury. It's tacky on my face. I am oily acne prone, so I can use a hydrating product. I can't use too many, so like 1 or 2 are fine. So from first impressions, I like it. It's tacky and it helped with foundation, I think. Now that leads me to, might as well talk about because they're both the same brand. The Armani foundation and concealer. I actually matched it right. Like, let's see. I just applied it, but it actually is like my true skin color. And that's an amazing thing because I just always seem to get too dark or too light of a foundation and concealer. I can never seem to get it just right. And this is great. It feels actually really nice. It didn't feel heavy when applying it. So first impressions, this is at least it's worth it for the 50% off that I bought both of these. Because again, I can never justify $30 something and $60 something for foundation and concealer. No. Could never. Now, where is it? This. I've tried this already. I love it. I love it. Love it. This is beautiful on the skin. There is a scent, but the scent goes away. It doesn't linger because if it lingered, it would have been a no for me. So, it's beautiful. This is like, this is one that when I'm done using up, if it's not available in the boxy, what do you call it? Boxy Star, Mega Drop Shop, or whatever it is they call it, for a discount, I would actually pay full price for this. So this is worth the price, for sure. Now, the Dior Bronzer. This is a little bit more work and more build up, but I actually don't mind. I might have put slightly too much, but then again, it is my first time trying this. So first impressions is actually not that bad. I obviously have to work with it a little bit more to get the hang of this particular product. But that's the same way I feel about this. The Jaclyn Hill Sunkissed. Yeah. At first it didn't show, and then before you know it, it showed. So I don't know how I feel about that. This is where one I'm definitely gonna have to make sure I don't have lipstick on my teeth. It shows. It's definitely one that you have to build, and I actually like that. I like bronzers and blushes I can build. It's not like my eyeshadow, which we'll get to right now, or pretty soon, but it's in the middle. It's not the worst, it's not the best. So I think when I play around with this a little bit more, I'll get a better impression, like if this is a for sure or this is like a no. Highlight. I mean, guys, you can see the glow, I hope, because I don't have to say more. I did a declutter series and I kept all of my over highlighters. I didn't declutter one single one. The only way I would have decluttered any of my over highlighters is if I had a duplicate. That was the only way I was gonna declutter. And lucky for me, I didn't have a duplicate, so I kept all of them. That tells you already enough how I feel about over highlighters. Oh, you need to get over highlighters, and they run so many sales, a lot of sales, so you don't even have to pay this at the full price. I mean, if you use the code ALLIE, you save 20%, but I just got 5 over highlighters for $18. So they run plenty of sales throughout the year. So if you have your eye on like certain highlight palettes, all you have to do is wait for their 50% off sale, or 40, or you know, something like that, and you can get this even cheaper. And once in a while, not all the time, you can stack say Allie's code on top of the discount, on top of whatever is already on the discounted price. Now that's from time to time. It's never guaranteed, but you can always try it. But even if the code doesn't work, you can always get this on sale because they run sales throughout the whole year. So you need to get your hands on an for a highlighter. If you're me, you want to beam to the gods, to the heavens and to Mars and space, this is the way to go. And you can always use it as a eyeshadow too. That's just what's great about it too. You can use it as a highlighter and an eyeshadow. Now, Natasha Denona's Sunrise Palette. I mean, you can see by my eyeshadow look. It is pigment. There's pigment. Now granted, I only used 3 shades, but this is definitely one. The formula is good. Doesn't take a lot of work, which again, I bought this for $40 because it was on sale for Black Friday. So if you're like me who really doesn't want to pay $65 for this, wait for Black Friday because she runs deals and you can get this at a cheaper price. And if you have your eyes on another palette, she did bundles on top of that, and the bundles are even discounted. So again, if you're patient, wait for Black Friday next year and you're gonna get your hands on her $65 palette, I think her $125 or $120 something palette for cheaper for the Black Friday deals. So definitely worth it. Love it. Now, the mascara. This is like the 3rd or 4th time I'm using it. I like what this does for my eyelashes. I love when my eyelashes are separated because there's some mascaras I've used that they clump almost all of my eyelashes together and it looks like I have one single like ooh lash. Like, I don't like that. This definitely separates. Now, does it add a volume? I don't think it adds volume, but I don't think it claims to add volume. So for me, I love it. This is definitely like, this is becoming like one of my favorites, and I'm glad I got this in a mystery box. And the Charlotte Tilbury. Granted, I did put the lip balm right before I put this on, but it feels very soft, beautiful color. Charlotte Tilbury. The formula feels very nice. We'll see how long it lasts though, but I like it. I like the color. And of course the setting spray. Again, this is my holy grail. I think this is my 3rd or 4th bottle I have bought, so that tells you. If I'm rebuying this continuously, it is worth it even at the full price. Now, luckily, like Urban Decay does do sales, and from time to time Ulta does give you like the 20% off, and that does include prestige items, so you could always get 20% off of this. And then of course when the holiday comes around, the Urban Decay loves to like do, maybe not this exact makeup spray, but they like to do like a bundle set of the other versions of this, and you can get like 2 for like 30 or 2 for essentially like 2 for 1 kind of deal. So you can always wait for the holidays next year, get your hands on 2 of them instead of buying 1 if that's what you really want to do. But for me, I still buy this even at regular price, so that tells you how much I love this thing. Oh yeah, the Huda Beauty Lip Balm. I love it. It definitely hydrates my lips. It stays hydrated all night. I gotta look up the price, but definitely worth it. But that's it, guys. This is more of a lengthy, chatty video than anticipated, but hopefully you enjoyed this get ready with me with my high-end Luxe items. I will put the total. Okay, I will tell you the total without the Huda Beauty Lip Balm, and then I'll add the new total with the lip balm at the end of the video. So the total without, you know, without, I don't want to say it, but I'm going to say $405. Yeah, guys, I have $405 worth of makeup on my face. Just man, it shocked me. I mean, I knew it was gonna probably be like, I thought it was gonna be in the $300 range, but yeah, it's a lot. Actually, let me just look up the price of the Huda, of the lip balm, and just give you the total now, because it's a lot already. It's a lot. And again, I want to stress this. A lot of this I got on sale or in mystery boxes, or like the only thing I got in here that was from BoxyCharm was the Fenty was the setting powder by Fenty. That's the only thing I got in the subscription box, but everything else is on sale or mystery boxes because I can't. Yeah, it's just it's I can never afford it individually. At the full price. And let's quickly add this. Just, why not? Negligee Lip Balm. Okay, so this is the Negligee. It's the same price. It's $25. Yeah, $25 for a lip balm. I mean, it's pretty, guys. I'm not sure where to see it. Like the sparkles. So $25 on top of. So $430 worth of product on my face. Yeah. So tomorrow I will film the high-end, not the high-end, I'm sorry, the drugstore brand. So you'll get to compare high-end Luxe versus the drugstore brand. And then the third video will be a mix of both, and me using products I've used in this video and products that I've used in the, that I will be using in the drugstore brand video. So hopefully you enjoyed this very long, chatty, get ready with me video. You give it a thumbs up, you subscribe to the channel, and I'll figure out the placement of that board in the background, one way or the other. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.